I was such a token that I would preempt certain microaggressions that I knew were coming. Hi, my name is Tia, and this is how I made it in Japan. I came to Japan because I was just really fascinated in Japanese culture, Japanese history. When I was 16, I got into learning about the Meiji period, and I was really fascinated about how the Meiji restoration kind of put Japan on not a center stage, but a global stage, and how that just wreaked havoc amongst everyone in Japan. From that point in time, I came to Japan as a study abroad student. And I was 17, I went to Aoyama Gakuin, and I was just blown away by how modern Japan was. My lens was the 1800s and early 20th century, and here people are wearing flannel and going to Starbucks, and it was really just like, okay, they're like America, but just in a different language, in a sense. So I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, on the east side of the United States, and that is the Bible Belt, one of the Bible Belt states. So it's pretty conservative. Race relations are, as they are. And that really was a particular kind of point of contention for me growing up. I was in mostly white schools growing up, and that didn't really become an issue, or at least I should say I wasn't aware of that being problematic for people who look like me until several instances in the United States, and particularly in my school, had happened. And I realized, maybe growing up or being an adult with a particular mindset was not the life that I wanted to live. And I felt this magical land that was Japan, or at least in my head at the time, that was a place that I could build a life without having worries of particular microaggressions and even instances of racism be in the forefront of my life. I was such a token that I would preempt certain microaggressions that I knew were coming. The tan joke, the you talk, very proper. I mean, these things that, I'd seen and experienced time and time again. It was just like, look, I really want to not hate you. So I'm just going to get this joke out of the way and we can continue. So I moved to Japan a few months after the March 11th earthquakes. I got here in September, and I stayed in a place called Tochigi, or Oyama Tochigi, and I loved it. I picked that place particularly because I knew I'd be tempted to speak English in Tokyo. So I wanted to go someplace where I really needed to up my Japanese, and I picked Oyama Tochigi. So Oyama, they've got a big Brazilian population, so those are the only two languages I could try, is Portuguese and Japanese. So the greatest resource in Oyama were my coworkers and the friends that I made in that area, because you're pretty much a fish out of water in terms of living as an adult and living long term as a resident in a country that you're marginally familiar with. And they really are your lifelines in a lot of situations. They tell you, they call you out on your faux pas. They help you when you have trouble. They're your translators. Even off the top of my head, I can think of so many times or so many instances where someone had to correct me on my Japanese because it was very, very offensive the way I was using it. Or when I had to go to the hospital, somebody was there for me to help me navigate. Just being there and communicating with the doctor. My friends were just awesome resources on how to travel, how to enjoy, my life and enjoy Japan on a deeper and richer level. So definitely friends and coworkers, greatest resource. Well, when I first got here, you're just different. From year 1 to year 10, it's my 10th year now. You're somebody who is different. One thing that really did irk me a lot was being a black person at the eikaiwa I worked at. They perceive you as somebody that's not bankable. So eikaiwa, you're trying to advertise for your eikaiwa. there was this white guy, and they would always put him on the face of posters and websites and stuff like that. And I really, really stayed committed to my work. I really was dedicated to my students. We had to sell these like extracurricular programs, and I'd sell my ass off, really, really trying to meet my KPIs and whatnot. And still, like, just putting me in the background, it really did irk me a lot. And the person wasn't a malicious person. Because we would go on trips and hang out, but just their idea that, yeah, we need to really make this school money and it's not you. I mean, I really love my clients. I really love the idea that a client trusts me enough and is excited enough to have me photograph their best moments, their wedding day. I mean, those are, each and every shoot is always just the best moment, the best day, the best opportunity for me, because they could choose someone else. They could not do it all together. And they are willing to spend the time with me in front of my camera and my corny dad jokes, because I love corny dad jokes, for a few hours or for a whole day or for several days in a row. So yeah, those are my best moments. So first of all, yes, you should definitely take that route and register your business, even if it's a cake business, even if it's a import business, or you're selling masks that you made handmade. Register your business. And I say that because it does add clout to what you're trying to do. There are a lot of times if you're working with another entity, they have a withholding tax. And they just assume like, oh yeah, you're freelance, we'll take care of your tax, And you say like, no, I'm a registered business. I will pay the tax because they're taxing me on this money you're giving me. So definitely register your business if you're doing big partnerships or big projects with other entities. So when you register your business, a really important point is to make sure that your visa either matches the type of business that you're running, or you have special permissions to run that business. And so at the time, I was an instructor. So I went from Eikaiwa, I started teaching at a private Japanese school, and I had to have an instructor's visa. So from that, I had to ask for special permission, and it's an easy application, but you have to ask for permission to do activities outside of your visa. So I filled that out, and I explained to them my business and how it was going to contribute to Japan, because you can't make a business that says, yeah, I want to sell, remotely on Etsy, and my customer avatars are in Europe. You can't do that. It has to have a benefit to Japan. So once you do that, then you're good to go. But let's say if you want to eventually change to that visa, you can do a couple things. You can self-sponsor, which will require you to be established already, and I did that. I have that currently now. I have partnerships and clients that I work with on a regular, and I have contracts with them, and those contracts help me self-sponsor myself. If you have the capital, you could also get a business investor's visa. The business investor's visa requires $50,000 in capital, or 5 million yen in capital, or not even capital. It can be, they're willing to be flexible. But if it's $50,000 or 5 million yen in year, in property, in something that helps you run the business, or if you have 2.5 million yen and two Japanese employees, they are also willing to help you get that visa for that reason. Back to how I got it. It was very straightforward. So I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. You can go to entities like JETCO. JETCO is a really good organization that helps people get their business off the ground. That's not what I did because I didn't know who JETCO was at the time, but I did have a friend who got his taxes done by a group called 7th Sense. And they are very foreign friendly. The owner or the founder of 7th Sense, he's Korean, and he created this with a motivation to help foreign businesses and help foreigners, keep their books in order. So I went to their offices, and they brought the forms. They knew exactly what forms I needed, And they said, okay, sign here, fill this out, do that, we'll file it for you. And that was it.
They would like